Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit, because he was fucking useless.
Yes, I tell you what's rubbish, Tony, is Rangers and Kilmarnock. That's what's on in the background tonight.
Well, I suppose I'm trying to think of something worse that you could watch, but
I can't think at the minute what I could. I tell you what I could watch. It would be worse than that, Tony. The first half against Lincoln. I reckon that would be worse.
Well, let's get straight into it, right? So, statistics. He says, trying to find it again. I already knew the answer. Right, so we had 71% possession, which seems like a lot.
It does,
but, I mean, yeah, I thought it would be much more even than that. So, 11 shots on target. 11 shots, 3 shots on target.
What, in the first half?
No,
was this the whole game? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And I hear you say, well, what did Lincoln do?
Well,
and I shall tell you that for the entire match, there were 11 shots and 3 on target, combined by both teams.
Yeah, they were.
There were more fouls. There were 12 fouls each, which was more than there were shots in the entire game. So there were twice as many fouls in the game as there were shots.
That first half was quite literally the only good thing I can take out of that first half is because I'm a man who's in his 60s and I'm thinking I've probably got about, if I'm lucky, another 20 years of life left. I thought that first half felt like about 20 years long, to be quite honest. I'm thinking, well, I've done 40 years, haven't I? That was just...
Well, let's be honest. We had a feeling, from what Lincoln fans were saying, that it could be the worst game of football you've ever seen in your life. It was the football equivalent of 2 bald men fighting over a comb. We could have played without goalkeepers, and neither team would have scored.
I can't remember.
It was that bad.
I don't remember old matey having anything to do. Old coming, I just don't, or their guy for that matter.
There were 2 shots on target. I remember our one was the one, I think it was Matt Dennis at their keeper, just sort of head high, and I thought the keeper had let it slip through his fingers for a brief moment, but it was just wishful thinking.
It wasn't. It was not an edifying experience, I've got to be honest. We were better in the second half, But
I thought the whole thing was shit.
Really, we were better. I thought. Yeah. Speaking of
the only thing I got out of that was Mr. Jackson's passion. We won a corner. You think we just won the FA Cup or something? He was going mental, and I thought, yeah, that's what I like to see. It's just a shame that it doesn't translate on the pitch, but he was absolutely delighted that we had won a corner.
Well, that's at least something, isn't it, to take away. I thought we looked better, speaking about Matt Dennis, we'd certainly improved when they brought him on. We weren't much better, but we were better.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, go on.
The whole Jacko thing.
Yeah.
Set your faces to stun.
I'm ready.
Inside info. Guess what he's got written on the underside of his boots?
I reckon it's Jacko, to be quite honest.
He's got Jacko written on the underside of his football boots.
Well, maybe we should just
there you go. However, this does not mean that we still won't be referring to him as Jacko, because it would just weird.
I don't mind calling him Jacko, but I'm not doing it. Nah, I'm not.
Yeah. Gaffer, it's just got to be Gaffer.
I'm going to call him Jackson. I think that's a bit more... some kind of guy, aren't I? Yeah, getting back to what we were saying, I mean, we were better in the second half. The only other thing I would say from that game was, I reckon if we'd played that game a month ago, we would have lost it. That's the only thing I can think to say.
Well, Lincoln were a better team a month ago than they have been recently. But even so, I mean, I knew from the start, and this is the most depressive thing about this season, is I woke up, as per usual, ridiculously early on Saturday morning.
Are you excited about that?
And, well, I always wake up, I mean, I don't have to set any alarms whatsoever. When there's a Saturday, if I know I'm going to football on a Saturday, I will wake up about any time between 6 and half 6, and I'll be wide awake, ready to go. I mean, if the game kicked off in 6:15 in the morning, I would be on time every time. But I'm still waking up, but the excitement isn't there.
Oh,
the anticipation, the optimism of, all right, yeah, it's been shit recently, but today could be the day. But I went to that game thinking, well, I got exactly what I was thinking I was going to get, which was 11 shots, 3 on target between the two teams. But yeah, that 71% was very, very surprising to me. But I suppose if I'm going to pick a plus point, which it sounds like I'm going to have to, that could be a plus point, I suppose, that we had that amount of possession. And although it wasn't a particularly pretty passing game that we come to expect with that level of possession, I don't know, maybe. But if we're playing teams that bad and getting 71 possession, but still only having 6 shots and 1 on target,
not good enough, mate.
That's where, I mean, we know with the issue, and it's, you know, we've said that we don't necessarily have a problem scoring goals. We just let more in than we score. But it isn't. It's just really poor and bad and not pretty to watch. I mean, I say that about the amount of goals we've scored, right? But we've actually scored 9 less than Burton, only 1 more than Forest Green, only 1 more than Cambridge, and then looking down the line there, the only other team that scored fewer than us is Cheltenham.
Were you surprised how bad we were on Saturday? Did you go there thinking we were going to be better than that after he did 2 weeks to, work his so-called magic?
No, do you know, I thought that from what I'd heard from Lincoln fans, I thought there might be a chance of a win against a team that's really poor at the moment. Yeah. But having said that, at the same time, I couldn't see how we were going to achieve it. If that makes sense.
Nothing.
Because it's like I said before, we could have played without goalkeepers, and neither team would have scored because it's that poor attacking wise, and the goal threat is pretty much non-existent. And I mean, have we seen any real team goals this season? You know, we've seen a lot of individual finishes, but we've not really seen anything that represents a good old-fashioned team goal that we're semi-famous for.
There's no flow in football, is there? There's none of that. There's none of our, what we were doing last season, is there? There's just none of that.
I think I genuinely, unless something miraculous happens and Mr. Jackson does pull something out of his arse, and it would be at this moment in time fairly miraculous, just based on, I mean, we're 2 points off safety, but goal difference is a factor now. But we're 3 points off Accrington, and we've got a slightly better goal difference than them. So all is not lost there. And we did win 2 games in a row. But since then, we've lost 2 and drawn 1. So I suppose, again, it's about consistency, but it's not just about consistency, it's about getting points on the board and getting yourself out of the shit. So
God knows.
The way I'm seeing it at the moment is the way that we play and the way that we are playing, and with the teams that we've got in the rest of the second half of the season, I can't see a huge amount of points coming our way. I mean, you'd hope that we'd get something at Forest Green on Saturday. You'd be disappointed. They've lost the last 5. They've lost 4 and drawn their last game. Burton, for some reason, on a bit of a run, isn't they? I think. Is it Burton? Who's jumped out? Or Accrington jumped out, didn't they? Morecambe have moved up. Fleetwood, Lincoln on their way down. Didn't see Portsmouth for 15th, which
really
I had no idea. Yeah, Portsmouth for 15th.
The sharp end, personally.
But new manager going in there at some point, and
yeah, I know who that is.
Well, it looks like it will be. That's certainly the rumours that are circulating. I think he'll do well there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I wish him all the best.
There's no reason why he shouldn't. I mean, they've got a decent squad. If he gets them playing his brand of football, I mean, maybe not this season, but next season they
don't wish
should
the
be
guy
right
any
up
ill,
there.
to be quite honest. You know, it didn't work out here. I don't wish the guy any ill the way I wish, like, Robbie Nielsen ill. You know, I do wish that bloke ill, but, you know.
Oh no, I don't think there's a single Dons fan who blames Liam Manning for Liam Manning getting sacked.
Yeah.
I think that's all on the. It's not all on the players, obviously, because the players are the players, but it's the players that we brought in and the recruitment in the summer that's absolutely killed us. Absolutely killed us, and you know, you don't really ever take much from relegation seasons. And I'm not saying we are definitely going to get relegated, but as we've been saying for the last few weeks, the way things are, that is fairly likely. But I just can't see anything.
Well, bought someone,
I can't see
Tony.
any positives, and this is a first for me. This is a first.
Yeah,
you know, you look. Sometimes you think, oh well, when this player comes back, or this player recovers from injury, or you know, we've got none of that. What we've got, other than Louis, is all fit and raring to go. We've got the new boy in from Birmingham. I don't know anything about him, so I'm not going to pass judgment. Lecco, is it Lecco?
Oh, God knows. There's rumours that we're signing some kid from Leeds on loan, but when I say kid, when you look at the pictures of him, the guy looks about 13 years old, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he really does. I think, I'll be honest with you, mate, you better be alright if you do turn up, because you look really, really young. But I mean, I've never seen him.
But is two players going to solve our problems?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, is he not a striker, old mate we've signed from Birmingham?
What I read about him, he's not an out-and-out striker, but he's definitely a forward-thinking player.
I mean, speaking about strikers,
from what I've read,
I know he's not the man that he used to be, but I thought Will Grigg was just absolutely dreadful on Saturday. Really, I felt not sorry for him, because you know me, Tony, I don't feel sorry for people, but I just thought, mate, you're done. You know, you are finished as a footballer.
But is that his fault?
Well, I don't know.
Everywhere he went, he was surrounded by three defenders. Yeah, he was never given a chance to run. He was always having to run into spaces that were going to be very quickly occupied by those two or three defenders I mentioned. Pretty much had his back to goal most of the game. That's not the game that he wants to play.
No,
he has to play it because it's the only way he can get the ball. But
what did they do when they brought Dennis on? Did he go off? I can't remember now. Or were the three of them on the pitch at the same time?
What? Isa,
Dennis and Grigg. I can't remember.
Were they on the pitch at the same time? Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think they were playing like Dennis up through the middle, weren't they? Because Isa definitely went on the wing again, didn't he?
Let's have a shufty. So, Dennis came on for Barry after 57 minutes. Yeah. And Griggy replaced Holland after 67 minutes. So, from 67 minutes, yes, we had Dennis, Grigg, and Ice on the pitch. At no point did that occur to me that had happened.
I mean,
when you should have noticed that and said, "Oh, actually, do you know what?" I mean, that was funniest thing though, right? I was sat with Louis in the first half, and
I'd love to hear what he thinks about that.
Eh?
I'd love to hear his thoughts on how we're doing at the minute, but I guess.
Well, it was only the first half. He didn't come back for the second half, but he said.
No wonder.
He said to me that, this is the sort of game that kicks off at 70 minutes. Now, for a man who's played 20 years as a professional, 800 plus games, seen it all, done it all, he could not have been more wrong. Although, to be fair, the tempo did pick up, but probably nearer the last 10 minutes than the last 20. So, yeah, I think that was sent out of optimism more than anything else. You know, blind optimism by Mr. Lurton there, but yeah.
Oh, God knows. I've had a tweet which is kind of talking about what we've just been talking about from Fraser Wiley. I'll read it out now. And he says he thought the first 20 to 30 minutes you could see that they had worked on moving the ball quicker. One touch and pass, players wanted the ball and broke the lines a couple of times. We had nothing in the last third. Created zip, nada, nout, nil is something to build on, and he reckons the next 4 games are massive. Well, every game's been massive, isn't it, really?
Well, every single point is priceless at the moment. I mean, I said it 2 weeks ago, I think it was, when I really noticed it, when we did have I can't remember who we were playing, but we had a bit of space to play the ball. It may have even been Leicester. Anyway, and I said we are not moving the ball quickly enough. It's almost as if the players are second guessing themselves and not wanting to make a mistake or give the ball away. And that's a. I mean, we didn't move the ball massively quickly in the past, but we always know how to use the space and the triangles, and accurate passing was, that was something that was really enjoyable under Liam Manning, and pretty much to the same extent under Russell Martin as well. And obviously, Carl's teams were the same.
Hang on, I need to. I'm plugging this. You talk away because my computer's about to go. I've forgot to plug it in, Tony. Keep going.
Oh, right, I'll keep going. So the speed that we play the ball about is definitely noticeable in that it isn't very speedy at all. It's very slow. And again, I don't know if that's a lack of confidence, a lack of ability, worried about making mistakes. But it's interesting that Fraser says that, because I didn't notice it myself, to be honest. But 71% possession would suggest that there had to be some element of that, at least, as poor as Lincoln were. But as they say, you can only play round what's put in front of you.
Eh? I've had another one here from Matthew James, if you want me to read that out. And
yes, indeed.
He's talking about Matt Dennis, and he reckons I asked people on Twitter what they would rather have been doing rather than watch that first half of football. And old Matthew here, he said, Matt Dennis trying to convince me that an overhead kick is the best option was surrounded by 4 defenders. I don't remember him trying that, do you?
Did one of their players just head it away? I can't remember. May have been that one. Either way, ask me to recall any significant moments from that game, and I will struggle.
I can.
The only one I can remember is Dennis's shot at the keeper, where I thought the keeper let it through his hands.
A ball went. I think Isa played the ball across, didn't he? And old Matt Dennis. Just missed it. Yeah.
Upon reflection, I was a little bit more critical of Dennis there than I should have been. Although you could argue that he should have been another yard forward.
He should have been, yes. I mean, it's all right to see he nearly got it. He didn't get it, did he? So,
just hitting him, it would have gone in. But yeah, so there you go. 2 memorable moments, one of which I had to be reminded about. So, it's just things. I mean, I'm mixing things up. I'm changing tonight. For instance, I'm wearing my headset on top of my hoodie.
Are you?
The hood on my hoodie. Yeah, I'm wearing
my headset on top of the hood.
Well, actually, when I say hoodie, it's my dressing gown that's got a hood. But
I know you're a man that doesn't like to put your central heating on unless you really, really need to. Yeah, I suppose you've got.
Oh, mate, no, I'm sat here. I've got a very large, thick hoodie on, plus my dressing gown or t-shirt underneath, obviously, and some thickish socks. That's over 5 years now since I last put my heating on.
That can't be good for your boiler, that. You got to let it run. You just can't.
Oh, well, I mean, the boiler's fine because I've got my hot water on all the time, but I don't know if my radiators would work or not.
That's not good for it, that.
The man from the council reckons they'll be fine, but I'm not going to test it because I don't put the heating on, so...
I've got mine on. It's just gone off, to be quite honest. It goes off at 7:30.
I actually love the cold. I'm quite happy to sit.
Don't like it, me.
In the cold, getting into the only thing I don't like getting into a cold bed is the getting undressed bit, because then that's that's really cold.
Oh, yeah, you have to be quick.
But I soon get used to it. Yeah,
you have to be quick. Yeah.
By the way, we missed. I missed an email for the last 2 shows from Rag.
I was wondering where he was last week, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so he sent us this on the 4th of January, so apologies, Rag.
Don't apologise to him.
I missed this the last 2 weeks. He says, Happy Hogmanay. I hope you and Jers have a much better 2023. Jers, I hope you have a better year health-wise in 2023.
Well...
And that it's genuinely better as a year. So we were just talking,
we were talking about that.
You're wrong, Ross.
You're wrong, Sandy.
In fact, it's got much worse.
This has got much worse.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Who needs 2 feet, right, Tony? I've got 1 foot.
It's just another day in terms of New Year's resolutions. Now is pretty much the worst time to try and start anything new. start a new, often difficult habit. Anyone would rather be far better and more likely to stick to new diets, exercise regimes, etc. in the summer when the sun is shining. January is a shite month, and everybody should focus on doing what's good for them and looking after themselves. All the best to everyone. Fairly sure he was sober when he drank that.
Yeah, it seems a bit normal for him, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is quite. And obviously, he was having a reflective moment.
Probably.
Perhaps.
Yeah. New Year, you know what he's like.
He's a very sensitive boy.
He is very sensitive. Was there another one? Did you say?
Did he what?
Did he send another one? Did he send two? No.
No, he hasn't sent one. I think.
Oh, right.
Obviously, he hasn't sent another one because I didn't read that one out for the last two. So you can send us another one now, Ross.
Yeah, send another one, Sandy.
I've read that one out.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So there you go. That's more or less. I don't know what else to say about that game. Nothing really. It was just a. You won't remember that one, will you? Definitely won't. You will not be remembering what you done that day. Definitely not.
I mean, I've heard a few murmurings about Nathan Holland starting to have an impact on games. I would agree with that. Yes. You know what we have forgotten?
What's that?
Warren O'Hara going off.
Oh, he did go off and left the ground in one of those protective boot things, didn't he?
Yeah. So those boots are never a good indicator because they're generally used by default anyway.
Yeah.
For everyone. So he could be in that for a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. We don't know. Nothing's come out about that yet. But that has left us with one central defender. And that's Jack Tucker. So
good. I thought
it
the
looks
defence...
like. I think if O'Hara is going to be out for a while, or at least a couple of games, and we're sticking with the four at the back, because I don't think we can go for a five at the back now, can we?
He's gone for four. He said that's how he's going to set up for
at the back. I
isn't
think
he?
he's going to be forced into it now. So Zach Jules will have to come in and fill in on that inside or the left of that centre pairing with Tucker. And then looking at it, it will be Daniel Harvey, Watson. So the same back four, obviously, but with Zach Jules in place of O'Hara.
I won't be adverse to that.
Looking at that team that started on Saturday, I'm looking at it and I still find it difficult to understand, because we know how good Tenai Watson is. We know how good O'Hara is. Zach Jules has had a decent season. Harvey is my favourite player this season. I don't care what anybody says. I think he's our best player this season.
I think
McEachran has his moments. Robson, we know, is a decent player, but hasn't really done anything since he came back. Barry threatens to set the world alight every now and again, but has gone off the ball a bit. Holland's come along a little bit. Devoy I've always liked because he's very much a sort of, he can score a goal here and there. And then when you look at what we've got up front, Isa, Dennis, and Grigg.
It's not good enough.
Maybe we sacrifice. I don't know. Do we go? I've been saying it for a while. Do we go two out and out front men?
I don't know.
As part of that front four, or maybe mix the midfield. I don't know. It's a difficult. We're not scoring goals, so
not at all.
The obvious choice would be to introduce more goal threat, but like I said, we put three strikers on in the second half for the last 23 minutes, and no one noticed, and nothing happened.
You didn't even know there were three of them playing at the same time until I brought it up, and then even then you had to check. So that shows you how ineffectual they are. It's just not working, is it? That nothing's working at the minute. I mean, old Fraser Wiley has said that he thought we looked better in defence. Like I said earlier on, I think if we'd played that game a month ago, we would have lost it. So you're thinking we're better, but if we're not scoring goals, we're not going to win games if we don't score goals. That's just a fact, isn't it, really? So
we looked better defensively against a team that was toothless up front as us.
Yeah, they were just, I mean, I thought
I would say the back four was a bit more advanced, but to no real great effect other than keeping a clean sheet. I mean, there is that. It was a clean sheet. And like you say, a month ago, we probably would have lost that game. Almost certainly. So, but a point is a point, I suppose. And it puts us a point closer to getting out of that bottom four. But as I said last week, we are now, until we do get out, if we do get out of that bottom four, we're reliant on other teams ballsing it up, even if we
that's a terrible
win
thing.
the games. You know,
it's a terrible thing to think that we not only have to be better. There are other teams that have got to start being worse. You know, that's the problem, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, and there are a few that are picking up. Like I say,
people are always going to start.
Are out of it. Accrington and Morecambe are now above us. Cambridge have slid back down again, which I think we probably expected. But you know, Fleetwood, Cheltenham, Accrington, Morecambe, all above us. Fleetwood comfortably above us, as are Cheltenham. Shrewsbury 14th now, and they were right in the shit.
Haven't we, on next Tuesday?
Yes, indeed. That's is that the 24th? Yeah,
it is 24th. Yeah, we've got Forest Green away on Saturday, and we've got Shrewsbury, whatever you want to say it, on Tuesday. So it's 2 games. Something to look forward to, isn't it? Next Tuesday, get out, Tony, get down there. Bit of excitement.
Well, I'm bringing a new spectator next Tuesday.
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it? It was bring a friend, wasn't it, for free on Saturday? I don't think that we...
Yeah, apparently there were a few that did take the offer up.
Yeah, God, there was loads. It was busier. It was noticeably busier, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a decent crowd.
It wasn't not bad, considering how bad we've been doing, you know.
Yeah, middle of Club Red was pretty full. Saw an old... a friend of mine who used to live in... Milton Keynes, or lived in Milton Keynes all his life, but moved away a few years ago, was at the game, and I just bumped into him randomly. Bring a friend to a game. He's paid for 2 tickets for him and his boy. Bless him.
Oh, good.
And his boy said, he said, he was visiting his dad anyway, and his son said, can we go and watch the Dons? I said, surely you can, there's ice hockey for a start, there's...
Do you know who wants to actually go and watch ice hockey? My wife.
It's not that. I mean, I found it all a little bit. I mean, it's a very, very fast game.
I've never been, Tony. I've never been once.
You can't see the ball. I went to. I've been to see the MK Lightning. Is it the MK Lightning?
That's where she wants to go.
I've seen the MK Lightning once, but I also went to the Frölunda Frölunda Chiefs. I think it's the Frölunda Chiefs.
Where are they from?
In Sweden, in Gothenburg.
Right.
And they are like the pinnacle of Swedish ice hockey, which is not far off the Canadians and the Americans. They're right up there with the best in the world. And I have never seen anything so... I mean, it was just... I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what the score was. I had no idea where the ball was. I had no idea what that bloke in the silly hat was doing. There was a bloke there who looked like he should be selling ice cream, but it turns out he was the ref. And it was just 9,000 miles an hour.
I'm going.
And apparently the Frölunda won. Well, you go. They need the support, so get in there. You might enjoy it. You might
do it.
I know that a lot of people. I think Ross is one of them, and.
Does he go?
Yeah, there's another lad. He used to go to the Dons and then go to the ice hockey in the evening and make a whole massive football sports session of it.
Just a pity. What were the basketball team called? Was it? I can't remember now what they were called.
Oh God! Remember when we had them in the studio? Was it me and you?
No, it was you and Franco.
Me and Franco. Yeah, we had them all in there. They're big, them lads.
Was it MK Lions? It wasn't that, was it? I can't think.
MK Kings, that was the Speedway, wasn't it?
I don't know. God knows. Anyway, I'm not going to that. They've moved. I can't think. I really don't know. I'm going to have to Google that. That's annoyed me. I'm going to Google Milton Keynes basketball team. Milton Keynes basketball.
Lions. Milton Keynes Lions?
I did say Lions a minute ago. And you ignored me.
Is it the Lions?
We've got Milton Keynes Breakers.
What was the manager? What was the manager
called?
Remember
him? He was alright, that guy. He was a nice guy, him. Can't remember his name.
He was lovely. He invited us along to a game. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And then you got to go on the pitch as well. Afterwards and meet all the players.
Well, there's only one I can find is the Milton Keynes Breakers.
Well, it was MK Lions, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was. Positive it was.
What was his name? Come on, what was his name?
I can't think. He was a lovely guy.
It was had an R in it. I'm sure it had an R in it. I'm terrible with names, you know. I can see his face. Had a bit of a Lionel Richie thing going on.
He was very Lionel Richie. Yeah, he was. Yeah. They're now called the London
Vince.
Lions.
It was Vince.
That's it, Vince. Yeah, it was. Yeah. They've rebranded, Tony.
Yeah,
they're
now the London Lions.
London Lions. What a bloody going down. Imagine that, moving a team and renaming it, Tony. I'm not having that.
No, I mean, it's like, that's franchising.
Rubbish that. You don't want that, do you? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Then.
they were the MK Lions from 1997 to 1997, 98.
They were the Hempstead Lakers for a while as well. The Hemel Hempstead
Blind,
Lakers.
I did not know they were only around for about a year. Surely that can't be right, because 98 to 2012. Sorry, my mistake. So that's 14 years. That's decent. Yeah, they were let down by, ironically, MK Dons, weren't they?
Yeah, well,
they were supposed to be playing in the arena.
I can't think of that guy's name. Vince something, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what I was finding out. It was Vince McMahon, I'm thinking, but that's WWF.
No, it was Vince McCauley.
Vince McCauley.
That was it.
Vince McCauley Razak.
I've either just remembered it, Tony, or I've just Googled it. One of those two things.
Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah, they were the days.
So, you know, if you can't be arsed with a football, go and watch the ice hockey team, because they're a good bunch of lads as well.
We've seen them recently. Remember I said, like, we go shopping now on a Sunday and I quite like going. My favourite shop to go to is Morrison's. I think that's the best value for some reason. And every time you go in there, you see them wandering about, you know, with their old ice hockey jackets and stuff on. So I don't know if they're played or if they train or whatever it is, but you see them in there quite regularly on a Sunday morning. Something exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so,
carry
on.
Back to the football then. Have we got any more tweets? Sorry,
well,
we've got no more emails, I can tell you that.
No, I've got one more tweet, but it's from MK Don's Paul, and he said he would rather go on hand gliding on Saturday than watch the first half of that, so don't know about that. Never been hand gliding, not my thing, that.
Maybe that's his thing. Oh, I'd love to go hand gliding. Do you know what I'd love to do? It's one of them squirrel suits.
What's that?
Jump off a...
Oh, one of those
so basically, it's like you do a base jump, don't you?
Yeah, with the old...
And then you put... And they've got the things under the arms, and you basically...
Like a squirrel,
fly. You fall to the floor, but very, very...
I know exactly
very slow, small increments.
Oh, Jesus, come on.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I wouldn't do it now.
Really? God, I would hate to do
shit
that.
myself, but I'd love to do that. I really would.
Anyway, back to the actual football.
We need jetpacks, mate. That's what we need.
We're supposed to have jetpacks by now, Tony. We're supposed to have jetpacks, and we're supposed to eat little tablets instead of having big dinners. Wait, what happened?
Yeah,
Where are our
flying
jetpacks?
Cars.
Hey, flying
There'll be
cars.
no cars on the road. It'll all be
nothing.
All be in the air.
Bloody useless.
Yeah.
Right, let's get back to football if we need to. So what do you reckon for Saturday then? You reckon we'll win?
I got a feeling, and I hate to say it, but I got a feeling it could be very similar to Saturday's game.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it'll be two teams.
And whoever scores a goal is likely to score.
I think it'll be two teams that are
likely to win, I should say.
Yeah, they're going to bore one another to death. That's what's going to happen on Saturday. That's what I think. There's quite a good turnout going, isn't it? I've sold out our allocation and I've asked for more, so God knows why. I've never been.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be quite nice, isn't it?
We haven't been there for a while, have we? So maybe it's the new crowd that haven't need to tick one off.
Yeah.
Possibly that we've picked up over the last couple of seasons. It's a nice ground. The away seating area, the new away seating area, isn't particularly impressive, but it did the job. If I could be asked to go, is where I'd be sitting. But
fucking Kilmarnock have just scored. Hang on a minute. Oh, for fuck's sake! Kilmarnock have just scored 5 minutes in. Not even 5 minutes. Bloody corner.
So it'll end up 5-1 then.
It will end up 5-1. I hope. That is just ridiculous. Look at that, mate. Don't do that. Sorry. Yeah, and then we got Tuesday against Shrewsbury, so God knows what to say there either.
Yeah, well, we'll do predictions. I'll go 0-0, and this could be the first time ever. I think we'll lose 1-0 to Shrewsbury on Tuesday night.
I'm going to go 1-0 to us for both games. I'm confident.
Oh, Phil, that made me shiver. Oh my God, I just shivered by predicting us to lose. Have I done something terrible?
No, you just, I don't know. It's first time. It's not the first time you. I don't know what to say.
I must have said I don't think we'll win, but I've never actively predicted
Is this your
that
first
we
time,
would lose,
man,
have
Tony?
I?
The first time you've ever said we're going to lose. That's poor. That's
And actually given a score.
That shows how bad
Oh
things
God,
are.
let's hope I'm wrong. I'm gonna.
So do I.
If that works, I might do that every week.
Oh, is that reverse psychology, do you think?
Yeah, because obviously that always works, like wearing the same pants and
it does, yeah, all of that.
the same socks and all that sort of stuff.
Walking backwards and then 3 steps forward before you go on the pitch and all that nonsense. That always makes a big difference.
Yeah, but it's not so good when your team does it on the pitch regularly.
No, sorry, I'm distracted by Kilmarnock. Sorry.
I don't think that's often been said, is it?
No, not by me, no, not by
Kilmarnock.
anyone. Been distracted by Kilmarnock. Doing what?
Even people who live in Kilmarnock are not distracted by
That's where I went to
I'm
college
sure.
when I was an apprentice, Kilmarnock. Used to have to go there. You
I
got
should
the
go
old
to
joke.
Scotland one day. I really should.
That was
I've
the
seen it
old,
on the telly. It looks all right.
that's the old joke, wasn't it, when you go oh, where's Rugby Park? Oh, just got off the bus, mate, and, you know, like, follow the crowd. You end up in Sainsbury's, so... But they don't get a big home crowd.
No idea what that means.
The old joke, isn't it, when people...
It's made me laugh, though, I have to say.
It's the old joke, isn't it, when people say, oh, where's Kilmarnock's ground? How do you get there? Oh, just got off the bus, mate, and follow the crowd. You can't go wrong. You end up in Sainsbury's. So, there you go. I've said it twice now.
Is that implying that no one goes
No
there?
one goes. They don't get a big home crowd, Tony. Turn on Sky now and you'll see there's 3 ends of the ground are absolutely jam-packed and they're all Rangers supporters. And the one...
Dave, I'll tell you what, to be fair, if Celtic and Rangers ever did leave the Scottish leagues, I'm surely the rest of them will probably go out of business
I would have
because
thought so, yeah.
they must rely heavily on those. Is it 4 games a season they play?
Yeah, you play each other 4 times, so they get 8 like away games, don't they? Where it's absolutely ram-packed, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
looking
gotta
at
be
it
worth a
at the
few
minute,
quid, isn't it?
there's 3 ends of the ground are absolutely jam-packed, right, with blokes, and then the whole stand that's facing the camera there's hardly anyone in it, and that's where Kilmarnock supporters are, you know. Just like, Jesus. Both ends of the whole
Bless
thing
them.
absolutely packed. Ah, bollocks to them, fucking Kilmarnock. Wankers they are.
Yeah.
Right, are we done? Is this going to be a short one this week? 38 minutes, that's done enough, isn't it? We'll get 2 games to talk about
38, I'm
next week.
surprised we got that far.
Yeah, and me, yeah, that's about... feel myself I'm quite optimistic about that. Yeah, I think we'll finish now, so I can go and watch this fucking absolute disaster.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we go, what is The Last of Us? Is it The Last of Us?
Oh, did you watch it?
No, tell me.
Oh,
Tell me what
mate.
what's
Fucking
all the fun? Bearing in mind I haven't played. Apparently, this is a computer game as well.
Is it?
So
Oh, I didn't know it was a computer game. What, is it based on a computer game?
it's based on a computer game.
I'll tell you what,
so
mate.
Here, yeah.
That was some...
I can literally hear Albie screaming
Is
at
it really?
his
A
phone
computer
right
game,
now
honestly?
when he listens to this.
It's pretty good, mate. It's really good. It's brilliant, to be quite honest. I watched, the first
What time is
episode...
it on?
Sky Atlantic.
Sky Atlantic.
The first episode was about...
Then I'm going to put that on and see what it's all about.
The first episode was about... It was really long. The best part of 2 hours. But it was really good. He's a great actor, that guy, isn't he? Pedro Pascal. He's brilliant in it. Really, it's really,
I have
really
no
good.
idea who that is.
Oh, you'll know him when you see him. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes,
Do you remember the Viper? You remember the Viper. Handsome guy.
I would if I saw him.
You would. Well, it's
The
him.
Viper.
Yeah, the Red Viper. You remember him? It was him.
What was he? What? Give me a scene or a reminder.
He was the guy that was... Remember when he was fighting the mountain and he thought he'd killed the mountain, but the mountain was still alive and stuck his fingers in his eyes and killed him? Remember that bit?
Oh, was that him? Was it?
That's him.
I remember the scene, but I can't
Yeah.
remember who.
He's in
Let's
it.
have
anyway.
a quick look. See. Oh, him, the
It's
foreign
good.
fella.
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant, mate. It
Oh,
really
look,
is
there's a
good.
lovely photo of him sticking his fingers in his eyes.
Yeah,
there.
that's
Look.
it. Yeah, don't look at that.
Yeah. I'd say classically handsome.
He's a good-looking
in
fella.
in a sort of a Latin, but no, not my type. To be fair.
Well, I highly recommend watching that. I was very impressed by it. It's only 1 episode.
All right, well, I'm gonna go and watch that
That's
now.
very
And I'll let
good,
you
yeah,
get
it's
on with
great.
your
Kilmarnock
Rangers versus.
I don't know whether to stick my own fingers in my eyes rather than watch Rangers Kilmarnock. I don't know what to do. I think I'll do that instead. Right, we will be back next week where we'll have 2 games to talk about. And we'll be
2 games. We might even get to 45 minutes next week. Who knows?
Oh, we've done 41 minutes now. This is one of our shorter ones. Right, we are done.
Yeah, again, how much of that was actually football?
Not a lot. What do we talk about? Talking about ice hockey.
At least 15% of it was basketball.
We spent a good 10 minutes trying to remember that Vince McCauley guy's name. So that's...
Oh, why would you listen to this
why
shit?
Do you? Why
really?
do
I tell you what, send us an email. Tell us why you listen. mkdonsradioshow@gmail.com.
I mean, we don't mind what you do.
You can keep it anonymous if you want. That's fine. But tell us why 6,000 of you download this every week,
idiots.
Please.
Morons. 6,000 fucking idiots. Right, we're done. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll be
Love
better.
you. Love you.